we had a lot of people, we had only been there for a couple months and they were already having problems, and I was a medic, and they would come in and ask to be seen, and the doctor would basically ask them, you know, what's your problem? And then they would say that they couldn't sleep, and the doctor wouldn't even ask them why. He would say, well, here's some Benadryl, this will knock you out. And then they'd come back and say that didn't work, you know. And if the doctor would talk to them, he would ask them, you know, well, what is it you want me to do for you? And, you know, a comment along those lines. And then we'd just hand out Paxil or something like that to these guys that were having, you know, really homicidal and suicidal thoughts, and give them Paxil and get them all doped up and put them behind a 50 caliber machine gun on top of a Humvee, and they'd be driving through towns. And that's really not the best thing to do for people, you know. And I would object and say, you know, if someone's having those kind of thoughts, do you really think they need to have 300 rounds of you know, M16 ammunition on them, walking through a town full of innocent Iraqis? You know, it's not the brightest thing. But none of them really even gave that a thought, and there was never really any counseling offered or anything offered to address the issue. It was just, take this medicine, and if it doesn't work, I'm sorry, that's it. That's all I can do for you.
The VA gave me like one drug first. It was Prazosin, and this stuff was originally meant as a blood pressure medication, but it so happened that it's good at knocking you out. This stuff did not work. It made me like made my jaw clench up, you know, headaches and all these kind of things. Then I switched to this other stuff called Trazodone. This stuff is a antidepressant, but it's a bad antidepressant, and it does knock you out. And once in a while I'll take that, it would work. And then sometimes I would take it and it wouldn't work right away, and this also messes with your blood pressure, so you know, get up too fast or something, you feel just really sick. And the point at which I stopped taking it was that, you know, I would have the nightmares, I have the dreams, you know, on a regular basis, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was trying to wake up from it, and because I was just so knocked out by this, you know, this drug, I couldn't wake up from it. After that, I'm like, no, I'm not touching this stuff anymore.
What is considered the standard for the various services as far as what people have to prove to go back to the war zone at this point? Like when you're redeploying back, what are they asking you in order to say, no, you're not going back, or yes? What's the sorting process?
Someone would say that they weren't, you know, fit to go over there. The only question they would get was, can you do your job? And you don't know what your job's going to entail over there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We had people, the first month I was there, we had 2 soldiers have heart attacks. One of them died. Mm-hmm. We had somebody that was sent over there that was 30% disabled by the VA. You know, the VA gave him a 30% disability. He was sent over there anyway, and got injured even worse and had to be medevaced out.
Sweat dries, blood clots, bones heal, suck it up, be a Marine. And there's like, you know, this is what you're taught, and as a result, guys have all this stuff inside them, all these problems. Guys are committing suicide before, during, and after deployment to Iraq and, you know, other war zones. And it's, you know, it's very serious. Like, I've talked to friends that have gotten out and they're displaying symptoms of PTSD, like, you know, nightmares, things like that, drinking just to be able to go to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night and realize, you know, they're having a nightmare and they were choking their girlfriend. They didn't know what they were doing then. And, you know, like, I'm telling them, you know, you guys need to go and get enrolled in the VA and get checked out. And I just told them, like, you know, when I was in the military, I didn't do any of this stuff. I waited until I got out. But there's a point where being tough becomes being stupid, and there's a point where you have to drop that facade of being tough and take care of yourself.